Good evening, everybody. We are from Group 6 and would like to present it about the Commonwealth and Restoration period. First of all, thank you to Miss Imelda for giving us chance to do our presentation tonight. Let me introduce our group. The first, I'm Hendrial Mendrova. Next, the second, Hamamah Lutfia. The third, Indri Devi Anggianti. And the last one, Sumiati. All right. The first one will be explained by Sumiati.
Thank you, Hendriawan. Okay, I would like to explain about the history of the Commonwealth and Restoration period in 1649 to 1713. Commonwealth and Restoration. In 1640, the Puritans, Roundheads, and Cavaliers, King's followers, went to war against each other. Victory of the Roundheads meant the execution of King Charles I in 1649. The period that followed is called the Commonwealth, led by Oliver Cromwell, then his son. In 1660, monarchy was restored. Charles II was restored from French Restoration. Although monarchy was restored, most of the power was held by the parliament. James II becomes the king who converted to Catholicism. His reign ended with the bloodless Revolution of 1688. Features of the age. Main concern of the time was to avoid another revolution. Reason was the spirit of the Restoration. Middle classes had more influence, their wealth grew, and they wanted stability above all. A time of commercial growth and scientific advances. A time of war in the rest of Europe. Union of Parliaments of England and Scotland. Protestant victory in Ireland, the population was still largely Catholic. So Ireland remained a problem to the United Kingdom. Restoration gave more importance to stable values and less for the search for new values and exploration of new words, for example, Renaissance. It was also a time of war in Europe, the War of the Spanish Succession lasting from 1701 until the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713. The United Kingdom was finally united when the union of the parliaments of England and Scotland took place in 1770. But Ireland was still a problem. The Battle of the Boyne in 1690 gave the Protestant victory, although the majority of the population was still Catholic. Okay, so that is explanation from me. Thank you, Hendriawan.
Okay, thank you, Sumiati. The next one will be explained by Indri Devi.
Okay, thank you, Hendriawan. I will explain about poetry, politics, and John Milton. Poetry and politics. The period between the execution of King Charles I in 1649, the restoration of the monarchy with his son Charles II in 1660, is called the Commonwealth. Oliver Cromwell, leader of the Roundheads, was named Lord Protector of the nation. One of the main texts of the Commonwealth is the poem by Andrew Parker and Horatio Ode upon Cromwell's return from Ireland 1650, which has been called the greatest political poem in English. The theme of the poem is strength and strong government. The political side of the literature became important during the Commonwealth in a way it never was before. In Hamlet 1600, for example, Shakespeare had imagined the necessity of killing the king. In 1649, this event actually happened and the shock was great. However, Marvel also contrasted the world of politics and city life with the quiet life in the country. Sometimes it seemed as if he found politics corrupt. The new society of the Restoration gave much more importance than before to stable values and much less importance to the search for new values or the exploration of new worlds as in the Renaissance. So the major figure of who links the Renaissance and the Restoration, John Milton, can be seen as both a Renaissance and a post-Renaissance, post-aftermath. Thank you, Indriawan.
Okay, thank you for your explain, Indri. For the next will be explained by Hamama Lutfia.
Okay, thank you, Hendriawan. John Milton, 1608 until 1674. John Milton can be seen as both Renaissance and post-Renaissance man, veteran poet. He was contemporary to all struggles and battles of the 17th century. He sided with Oliver Cromwell Putin against the king, and he served as a secretary to the protector during the Commonwealth. He was influenced by Latin writers, classical tradition, and religion principles. Next, Milton was ambitious to become a great writer like Chaucer. After the 1630s, Milton wrote little poetry and focused on writing a pamphlet on many controversial subjects of the time: divorce, politics, education, freedom of the press, and religions. After the Restoration, Milton was arrested, but he was able to return to writing. Milton's eyesight had been steadily declining for years until he had gone completely by 1652. Thank you for explanation for me. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much for your explain, Hamama Lutfia. All right. For the last one will be explained by myself, Prose and John Bunyan. The best known prose text of the second half of the 17th century was also a return to medieval rather than Renaissance forms. The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, published in 1617 with a second part in 1684, is an allegory. It is also a dream vision, like many medieval texts. The pilgrim, whose name is Christian, is described on his journey through this life towards the world which is to come. He faces all sorts of difficulties, from the giant despair and the slough of despawn, deep of depression, to Vanity Fair, or vanity equal pride. And all of these scans question the false values of the word, stressing the values of the Christian faith. The scans in the Pilgrim's Progress are quite different from the exploration and questioning of the Renaissance. Grace are quite different from the exploration and questioning of the Renaissance. It is one of the most important texts in English literature because it fixes the values of society as those of Christianity, faith, and stability. These values were to be important to society for the next 200 or more years. The Pilgrim's Progress is possibly the most widely read of all books in English literature because it is the one text which is considered to be close to the Bible and almost a religious text itself. John Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress, 1678, his text is an allegory. It uses the technique of dream vision like medieval texts. The main character, Christian, goes into a journey to the world to come. He faces all sorts of difficulty from the giant despair. That's all our presentation tonight. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.